Good evening. I'm very nervous. Never did this before. And I got a phone call from Vincent informing me that the chances of me meeting a very unfortunate accident would be very high if I didn't come here tonight. So here goes. A newlywed couple escapes the busy confusion of their homeland for a distant and almost uninhabited lakeshore. They plan to live there simply, to fish the lake, to trap the nearby woods and build a house upon the dirt between where they can raise a family. But as their every pregnancy failed, the child-obsessed husband begins to rage at this new world. The song-spun object somehow created by his wife's beautiful singing voice, the giant and sentient bear that rules the beasts of the woods, the second moon weighing down the fabric of their starless sky, and the labyrinth of memory dug into the earth beneath their house. This is In the House Upon the Dirt Between the Lake and the Woods by Matt Bell. Memory as first exploration of this deep house, as this deep progression of rooms, to follow the many staircases down to the many landings, the many hallways branching out from behind progressively heavier doors. To open the first room and find the deep house made now a palace of memory, a series of rooms in which what I had forgotten had been curated, collected together with what I had tried to forget, and also with other moments that had occurred only in dreams, or else not at all, not for me. To find in each room some unadorned spectacle, my wife or me or us together, with or without those children we had failed to have, plus the one she had stolen, that she had passed off as our own, or not passed off, but made true. It was in those passages that I saw how even if I had not accepted this foundling into my family, still my wife had accepted him into hers. Put him at its center, a space I believed I had once occupied. And so our house was divided, and then divided again and again. Because what house might stand against a child loved by only one parent, when the jealous other held the same child in suspicion and contempt? And how for me the fingerling remembered everything. How the fingerling saw even what I would have left undiscovered, what I did not want to share with him or any other child. How even then he rode most often in my belly, in my thigh, in my throat, so that he might always be close to the skin, soaking in the new airs I moved my body through. And so he was there too in each of those many rooms, where otherwise there would have been only me, always me lonely, me alone, among the tiny domains of my wife, sunk into being as she passed, echoed throughout the deepening dirt. In this first room, I found piled the cargo we lost to the bear. Here again, the broken vases and cracked crystals, the shattered punch bowls, the punched out platters. Here were the shattered rags of my wife's dress, and beside them, my boutonniere, meant to be preserved inside a translucent bubble now freed from where it had been glassed. Here was the intricate mechanism of a handsome clock, gifted and then broken, stopped, as all other clocks were eventually stopped. All those objects seemingly each its own, but merely parts of a whole, what in the cave we had lost. And in this room, her wedding ring, discarded. She had improved everything I had given her, but not this. And so its simple band remained only what it had ever been. I held the ring in my hand, and then I took off my own ring and laid both upon the stones, touching. Rings had been insufficient to fasten us together, and it would take more than rings to rebind what had been broken. And less to end it, reminded the fingerling, as you have promised, as I promise you will. And in this room, the sound of my wife's knuckle first sliding beneath the beaten silver of this ring, a sound never before heard or else forgotten amid all the other business of our wedding day. And in this room, the footprints she made on the beach where we were wed, where we had stood atop the platform, separated by the priest and then joined by the same. And all this upon the other sunnier shore, where it was not always summer, but where often it was summer enough. And in this room where my footprints that evening were not always at her side, only sometimes so, and how I wished it had been different, that I had not walked away from the beginnings of our marriage when I thought it would always be easy to return. And in this room, the words I used nearly every summer after to beg from her one more child, even after she was determined only to stop the trying. And also before she found she wanted her motherhood again, wanted it this time for herself, wanted it more than even I had even wanted or realized. And in this room, the scent of my wife's perfume as she passed, a smell once lovely, now stale as glue, and how I missed it, original, how I had missed it. And in this room, every graying hair she pulled from her head or her body in the failed years between the fingerling and the foundling, every piece of skin she rubbed raw in the bath, when between miscarriages she could not scrub away the hormone stink of motherhood falsely begun. All that hair and skin stuck wet to the floor. And in this room, a white suit that no longer fit, a shirt that wouldn't button, a tie drew its knot too quick around the neck, the relics of a body betrayed against itself and against my wife, who had not agreed to love what fat hair it acquired, what fat and hair it acquired. Not the blank spaces replacing what it had lost, those first few teeth, those other small kindnesses. And in this room, my wife's garden, if she had not abandoned its offerings to eat the meat of the woods, what she might have grown with the labors of her hands instead of the song of her voice, that dirt would have yielded to us if only she had again given the sun leave to shine. And in this room, a silver bowl filled with her tomatoes, one taste of which revealed the tan of their sun-stuffed, their lack of right reality, despite skin, despite juice and seeds. And in this room, all the faces of the fish I had taken from the lake, piled into a single mash of eyes and gills, teeth and scales. How surprised I was to see them, and how easy it was to forget how many lives I had took just to keep myself alive, to feed my wife and the foundling, all these bodies knifed open so we might continue another day.